Ladies and gentlemen, I know. We're in the middle of doing a different challenge. Someone's gonna point it out, but I wanted to quickly do this challenge because Shady Penguin did it. I love Shady Penguin's content. He's one of my big inspirations. So that's why. And just because we can, I am gonna also have Shady explain the rules. So I will be completely quiet here.
Screen in case you're not familiar with them, but here's some clarification on our specific challenge. The moment we use Tackle with Bulbasaur, one of our 10 move slots is locked in. If we use Tackle with the Rattata that we catch later on, that is another move slot locked in, leaving us with 8 remaining. It doesn't matter if both moves were Tackle. 2 Pokemon, 2 slots. Make sense? Using field moves like Strength to move stones or Surf to cross the sea outside of battle will not count towards our slot limit. However, if we use one of those moves in battle, another slot will be taken up. And that's pretty much it.
So let's get started with this challenge. So I get my starter, Bulbasaur, and I name it Comet, which is something you guys should do. It helps out the video and it gets people to see it. We then take on the rival and we get a bit of a slapfest, locking in Tackle as our first attack. I then go catch Rattata. I name him Teeth. I then catch a Pidgey. I named it Winged Rat. And the reason we do this is because we kind of need to manipulate our encounter. Going into our next area, after 2 rerolls, I find Nidoran Male, and this boy is going to be the savior of our run. I name him Will, and then I go into Viridian Forest, and I catch myself a Weedle and name it Snoop. Bulbasaur learns Vine Whip, which is our second attack, and I go and take on Brock at level 14, and I one-shot almost everything. Goes Geodude, and then Onyx comes out, and I'm like, yo, watch this. We go into Mount Moon and I catch myself a Geodude and we take the Helix Fossil. I start swap training Nidoran and I use a rare candy and the Moonstone to get Nidoking. We move into Misty with a level 21 Ivysaur. It takes 1 Vine Whip to almost OHKO it, so a second one on Staryu. Starmie is a bit of a different story. Starmie's just a bit tankier. So we go for our... Apparently, where is it? Poison Powder. We go for our first one and it shows a 3-piece. We go for the last 2 for game. With Misty down, I train Will to level 18 and teach him Bubble Beam to lock in my 3rd attack. Now, this is where numbers and statistics start coming into play here, because I see Comet is level 23, and we're only allowed to hit the ace level of the Pokemon to use them in the gym. So, for an example, Surge is level 24. So we easily beat our rival here, and we actually steam through all of Nugget Bridge, so I'm not going to show any of that, sadly. But we do get to the SS Anne, and I'm starting to panic because my levels are way too close to Surge. As you see, Will is 24 and Ivysaur is 24. So I'm trying to like mess with my statistics, swapping in and out of fights, trying to manipulate my stats. We do almost die to Kadabra, so I have to swap out into Will and go for 2 Bubble Beams to pick up the KO. And I don't have the confidence to go into Ivysaur again, so we just Bubble Beam Charmeleon and hit level 25. So for Surge, I'm only allowed to use the Ivysaur, so I start off with a Vine Whip, and we almost half health Voltorb, so it takes 3 to KO, and then goes out Pikachu. So we go for a Vine Whip, almost picking up KO, and we do kill it here. Comes out Raichu, we do, yet again, Vine Whip, and it takes 3 to KO the Raichu. After the gym, I catch myself a Spearow and name it Trade, and we do what it's named. I trade it to get Farfetch'd, and we make it through Rock Tunnel with ease, no casualties and no nothing. I immediately rush into Celadon, get Eevee, and name it Chris, and I head right upstairs, and I start getting TMs to teach Nidoking Ice Beam, and I just go and bomb rush the gym. First things first, I was a dumbass, didn't go and heal, so Ivysaur is still asleep from a previous fight. I go for Ice Beam, it takes 2 to KO Victreebel. We do pick up a Freeze, which in Gen 1 just means he's never going to wake up. So we go for an Ice Beam here, it takes 2 to take out Tangela, and we go for an Ice Beam one more time, and Vileplume puts me to sleep, and I almost lose Will. I'm scared, so I go into Comet, who's already asleep, and I start mashing to wake him up. He turn 1 wakes up, I go for Tackle, and this just becomes a slap fest as Ivysaur barely holds on for game. We rush back to Lavender Tower and to take on Mr. Lee, so I send out Nidoqueen. I missed my first Ice Beam, land the second one, KO the Pidgeot. He then sends out Execute. I decide to stay in, one-shotting it with Ice Beam, just like everything else. He sends out Gyarados, and we use Thunderbolt, which is just the backup move I taught Nidoking just in case. He sends out Kadabra. Kadabra actually kind of scares me on his team. We go for Thunderbolt, and he barely lives. We try going for a second one, miss, and the third one lands. He sends out Charmeleon, and we go for Bubble Beam, and it takes 2 to KO him. After this, we go rush back to Rocket Hideout to take out Giovanni. We use Ice Beam, KO the first Onyx. He sends out Rhyhorn. We Ice Beam it. It instantly dies. And he sends out Nidoqueen, and it lives the first Ice Beam, but falls to the third one. Moving in after I save the old man, we decide to go and do Silphco. Starting off Rival 5, he sends out Pidgeot. We go for Ice Beam and get a freeze. So we take advantage using Thunderbolt. He sends out Execute, and I go for Thunderbolt thinking I could get a paralysis, and I do land it. We go for an Ice Beam to pick up the KO. He sends out Gyarados. We Thunderbolt it to instantly KO the Mon, and then sends out Alakazam. This Mon scares me. We go for Ice Beam. He holds on. He hits me with Hyper Beam, almost killing me. We do kill it with Ice Beam. He sends out Charizard, and I'm like, you know what, screw it. We're just going to stay on Will. We go for Bubble. He goes for Leer for some reason. We bubble him to death. Going into Giovanni, this fight's super easy as well. We go for Tackle. By the way, I just like to point out that I am level 41, still using Tackle. All of his Mons fall pretty close. I almost lose Comet, actually. And I'm thinking to myself, well, this sucks. So I go into Will. I was trying to keep him at 44 for Sabrina. We go for Ice Beam, and Ice Beam, and Ice Beam for the KO. Moving into Sabrina. This is where the run starts to fall apart. I go for Vine Whip. Hits me with Confusion. Almost KOs me. I swap in the Will, and it almost KOs Will. We use Ice Beam. We lose Will. And then Comet falls to Psychic. I do lose this run here, sadly. So sadly I do lose this run. I know where I went wrong. It was the fact of the matter of I only trained 2 Pokemon, and I had to play by the level cap rule. I feel like if I had removed the level cap rule, I could have bumped my Mons to 60 and kind of just steam mopped Erica. Or not Erica, sorry, Sabrina. But hey, you know what? I like the fact that, you know, you guys get to see me go all the way up and sadly fail. I don't like how, you know, everyone does challenge videos and only does the flawless run for their upload. So I wanted to show this. Sadly, I did lose. I will come back to this challenge later on, maybe when I have a better understanding of Pokemon fucking Red, or I will do it in Pokemon Fire Red, but I'll leave that up to you guys. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, and you will still get Bulbasaur through Pokemon Emerald.